8 U.S. bacon brands. Secretly filling you with chemicals. You love bacon, but do you really know what's inside those perfectly crispy strips? Every morning, millions of Americans reach for a package of bacon without giving a second thought to the ingredient label. The sizzle, the smell, the satisfying crunch. It all feels natural, wholesome, almost primal. But behind the simple promise of smoked pork strips lurks a carefully engineered cocktail of chemical additives, preservatives, and flavor enhancers that most consumers never bother to read about. Some of these substances have been linked to cancer, hormonal disruption, and cardiovascular disease. Yet they continue to appear, package after package, on breakfast tables across the country. This article takes a hard look at 8 popular U.S. bacon brands and the chemicals they quietly add to your food. Chemicals that manufacturers rely on consumers not questioning. Why is bacon so full of additives? Before diving into specific brands, it's worth understanding why bacon contains so many chemicals in the first place. Bacon is a cured meat, meaning it has been treated with salt and other agents to extend shelf life and enhance color and flavor. In industrial production, the traditional multi-week curing process has been replaced by rapid injection methods, where curing solutions are pumped directly into the meat. This allows manufacturers to produce bacon in a fraction of the time, but it also introduces a much higher concentration of chemical compounds. The most common culprits are sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate, which preserve the pink color of bacon and prevent bacterial growth, particularly Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for botulism. While this sounds beneficial, the problem is what happens when these compounds are exposed to high heat. During frying, sodium nitrite can combine with naturally occurring amines in meat to form nitrosamines, compounds that have been classified as probable human carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC. The World Health Organization has also categorized processed meats, including bacon, as Group 1 carcinogens, placing them in the same category as cigarette smoke and asbestos in terms of evidence of cancer causation. But nitrites and nitrates are just the beginning. 1. Oscar Mayer Classic Bacon. Oscar Mayer is perhaps the most iconic bacon brand in America, and its classic bacon is a household staple. What most people don't realize is that the ingredient list includes sodium erythorbate, a synthetic compound derived from sugar that accelerates the curing process and enhances color retention. While generally recognized as safe by the FDA, sodium erythorbate is a chemical shortcut designed to speed up industrial production rather than benefit the consumer. More concerning is the sodium phosphate added to retain moisture. Excess dietary phosphate has been linked to kidney damage and increased cardiovascular risk, especially in people with pre-existing conditions. 2. Hormel Black Label Bacon. Hormel's Black Label is marketed as a premium, bold-flavored bacon. The label, however, tells a different story. In addition to sodium nitrite, this product contains sugar and dextrose, which might seem harmless, but serve primarily to mask the chemical aftertaste left by the curing agents. More troubling is the presence of smoke flavoring, an artificial additive used instead of actual wood smoke curing. Artificial smoke flavoring is produced by burning wood and condensing the smoke into a liquid, which can contain polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, another class of compounds associated with increased cancer risk. 3. Wright Brand Thick Sliced Bacon. Wright Brand positions itself as an artisanal, old-fashioned product with rustic packaging and wholesome imagery. But thick cut doesn't mean chemical-free. Wright bacon contains sodium ascorbate, another synthetic antioxidant used alongside sodium nitrite to stabilize color and slow oxidation. The interaction between sodium ascorbate and nitrite does reduce the formation of some nitrosamines during curing, but that benefit largely disappears the moment you throw the bacon in a hot pan. The combination also includes potassium chloride, a salt substitute that can cause cardiac irregularities in large amounts and is associated with a bitter metallic aftertaste that many consumers don't recognize as chemical in origin. 4. Smithfield Hometown. Original bacon. Smithfield is one of the largest pork producers in the world, and its hometown original bacon reflects the priorities of industrial-scale production. The ingredient list includes sodium nitrite, sodium phosphate, and sugar, a trio designed to maximize shelf life and visual appeal rather than nutritional quality. What stands out specifically about Smithfield's formulation is the relatively high sodium content. A single 2-slice serving can contain over 400 milligrams of sodium, largely from the multi-chemical curing solution injected into the meat. Regular consumption at this level contributes meaningfully to hypertension and fluid retention. 5. Jimmy Dean bacon. Jimmy Dean is best known for its breakfast sausages, but its bacon line has become a staple in American freezers and refrigerators alike. Jimmy Dean bacon contains modified cornstarch, which is unusual for a cured meat product and serves as a binder and moisture retainer. Modified cornstarch is produced through chemical or enzymatic treatment and may contain residual processing chemicals. The product also lists natural flavor, a notoriously vague designation that can legally refer to hundreds of different compounds, some of which are chemically identical to artificial flavors. Consumers have no way of knowing exactly what hides behind those two words. 6. Private selection. Applewood smoked bacon. Kroger? Kroger's private label, Bacon Sounds Wholesome. Applewood smoked conjures images of traditional smokehouse curing. In reality, the product relies on the same artificial smoke flavoring used by many industrial brands, supplemented with sodium erythorbate and sodium nitrite. The Applewood descriptor refers to the type of artificial smoke flavoring used, not to actual wood-burning preparation. This kind of linguistic sleight of hand is common in the bacon industry. Terms like natural, smoked, and hickory-cured often describe chemical processes rather than traditional ones. The packaging is aspirational. The ingredient list is industrial. 7. Bar S bacon. Bar S is one of the most budget-friendly bacon options in American supermarkets, and the trade-off is visible in its ingredient list. Bar S bacon contains mechanically separated pork in some of its products, a controversial process that grinds bone and connective tissue along with muscle meat into a paste-like substance. Beyond this, the brand uses a dense array of preservatives including sodium nitrite, sodium phosphate, and sodium ascorbate, along with caramel color, an artificial coloring agent that, when produced through certain manufacturing processes, can generate 4-methylimidazole, 4-MEI, a compound the state of California lists as a possible human carcinogen. The low price point reflects the low quality of inputs. 8. Applegate Naturals. Sunday bacon. Applegate is frequently cited as a healthier alternative, marketed prominently to health-conscious consumers seeking natural and humanely raised products. And to be fair, Applegate does avoid sodium nitrite. Instead, it uses celery powder and sea salt as curing agents. But here's the catch. Celery powder is extraordinarily high in naturally occurring nitrates, which are converted by bacteria into nitrites during the curing process. The end result is chemically identical to conventionally cured bacon. The FDA does not allow these products to be labeled uncured without a disclaimer, which is why Applegate packaging reads uncured, no added nitrites except those naturally occurring in celery powder. In practice, consumers get the same nitrite exposure, wrapped in the illusion of a cleaner product. The regulatory gap. The FDA and USDA regulate the use of these compounds and set maximum allowable levels for additives like sodium nitrite. Manufacturers are not violating any laws by using these ingredients, but regulation sets floors, not ideals. The fact that something is legally permitted does not mean it is without risk, especially for people who consume bacon regularly over many years. The real issue is transparency. Ingredient lists are printed in small type, filled with technical names most people don't recognize, and accompanied by marketing language engineered to create the opposite impression of what the label actually contains. Naturally smoked. No artificial preservatives. Made with simple ingredients. These phrases are carefully crafted to reassure, without necessarily being accurate in the spirit a consumer would understand them, what you can actually do. The goal of this article is not to cause panic or declare that a Sunday breakfast will kill you. Bacon eaten occasionally in small amounts poses a different risk profile than bacon consumed daily in large portions. But informed choice requires real information. Here's what to look for when buying bacon. Avoid sodium nitrite when possible. Look for products that explicitly state no added nitrites and no celery powder or celery juice as substitutes. Prefer dry-cured or traditionally cured products. Small producers and local butchers who use old-fashioned curing methods without injection typically use fewer additives. Read the full ingredient list. Ignore the front of the package entirely. It is marketing. The ingredient list and nutrition facts panel tell the real story. Look for short ingredient lists. Bacon needs only pork, salt, and time to be bacon. Any list containing more than 5 or 6 ingredients should prompt scrutiny. Consider turkey or chicken bacon as alternatives. While these products have their own additive considerations, they are typically lower in saturated fat, and some brands do offer genuinely cleaner formulations. Final thoughts. Bacon is one of the most deeply embedded foods in American culture. Its appeal is understandable. It is flavorful, versatile, and satisfying in a way few foods can rival. But the bacon sold in most American supermarkets is not the simple smoked pork product its packaging suggests. It is the output of a highly optimized industrial system designed to maximize shelf life, minimize production cost, and deliver a standardized sensory experience, achieved largely through chemical means. The 8 brands examined here represent a wide range of price points and marketing postures, from budget staples to premium naturals. What they share is a reliance on additives and processing shortcuts that most consumers would think twice about if they fully understood what they were eating. Knowledge doesn't have to mean abstinence, but it should mean choice. The next time you reach for a package of bacon, flip it over. Read the back. The front is advertising. The back is the truth. This article is intended for informational purposes. Individual dietary choices should be made in consultation with a qualified healthcare provider